My name's Amanda Short. Um, in my fun time, I like to pursue pageantry. So that's something that I've been doing for a couple of years, which would ultimately led me to you and working with you because I knew that I really wanted to work with a professional when it came to my fitness goals. I had been a competitive cheerleader for a really long time before that, so fitness was just part of my lifestyle. But then once I started going to grad school and no longer being a college athlete, I noticed that I needed more help in that area. But currently, I'm an attorney. I graduated from the University of Richmond School of Law back in 2022, worked for a judge, and now I'm a medical malpractice attorney. So I am currently working lots of hours, but also still getting in my workouts and trying to eat clean. The best that I can when you're stuck to a desk all day, which is totally fine. But when it came to pageantry, at least in the beginning, there was a swimsuit portion in the Miss Virginia competition. Over the past couple of years, that has been done away with. But of course, fitness is still very important in my life. And then this past summer, Miss Virginia brought back the fitness portion, but that was an activewear. I really realized that through working with you, I just learned more about what was good for my body and what I needed to do in the gym. So thank you for that. But that's a little bit of background on me and why I chose to work with you.
So a little bit about your lifestyle. I know you've had some travel. You had some travel in the midst of preparing for the pageant, and then you
Mhm.
had some travel afterwards. So what are some of the places that you've been to recently?
Yeah, so during pageant prep, I went to Cancun in Mexico at an all-inclusive resort, which is, if you're thinking about pageant prep, that's like the last thing that you should be doing before hitting the stage. But it was something that was already planned and something I was really looking forward to. And then this past summer, in between jobs, I took a little bit of time to travel. And so during that time period, I went to Italy, Croatia, Spain, and now I'm back in the US and we'll be traveling hopefully soon, maybe more domestic traveling for now. But
Oh, that's so
I
exciting.
really, yeah, really enjoy traveling. I will say one thing that helped during traveling, especially during that Mexico trip, was that you have always given really great plans that told me, how much in protein I should be getting and types of foods that I should be looking for. And none of the plans that I've gotten from you have ever felt overwhelming. They've always been something that I felt like I could follow, and you gave me tons of options when it came to like fruits and proteins and vegetables. So that always made things easier. And also the resort that I went to had a gym, and it was a really nice gym. Like it was beautiful, like overlooked the water and stuff.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
I was still, getting in my workouts, and of course, didn't have everything that I needed. But part of that is because I've been working with you for so long, like I know different exercises that I could have still done and like it would have still worked within that workout plan that we had.
Mhm. So let's talk about some of your results. What are some of the things that you
Yeah.
noticed for your health, your fitness, and
Mhm.
all the things for your progress?
Yeah, of course. I will say before getting more into fitness and learning more from you, like a common misconception is that, you're doing really great if you're losing weight. If like the pounds are just like coming off of you, then you're doing a great job.
Mhm.
But that wasn't the case for me. Part of what I was looking for was being stronger and to feel really good about myself. And that meant that I was actually gaining weight, but in muscle. And that's how we get that toned, sleek look that I wanted when I hit the stage. And so that was a result that I was really proud of to know that I was like lifting heavier and I was stronger. But I was also looking really good and in terms of what I wanted out of my fitness goals at that time.
For your experience at the Miss Virginia, you got a first runner up, so congrats on
Thank
that.
you.
Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, of course. So I have been competing in pageantry since high school, but part of that was just like little local pageants. So my first title was Miss King George Fall Festival, and I think that was when I was 16 years old. And then from there, eventually, other people noticed me and thought I'd be a good fit for the Miss America system. So that kind of started me on my Miss Virginia America system journey.
Your talent is singing. So,
Mhm,
how did you feel on stage and, your fitness level, your
mhm,
voice, with the exercise and nutrition and everything that helped you prepare
mhm.
for not only uh, looking your best, but feeling your best on stage and performing.
Yeah, yeah. So of course, in being a singer, especially an opera singer, it takes a lot of core work, more core work than you would expect, because you're really using those muscles to get the sound that you want. And unfortunately, I was actually in a car accident right before Miss Virginia. So, right before then, I had been feeling at my peak, peak physical, peak health, was eating really healthy, all that. And then got into a car accident. So physically, I wasn't feeling too great during the Miss Virginia week. Of course, I was still like eating the foods that were good for me and just doing what I can, but I really had to make that week a rest week and just take breaks and listen to my body. But thankfully, I was in really good shape beforehand. The week was kind of rough, but after that, physical therapy, all that good stuff, I'm good to go now. But I will say it was a little rough, but that's just because a circumstance that happened to me by no means by there's just something that happened. So
what gave you the mental power to get through that? Because I'm sure it crossed your mind to be like, no.
yeah, of course. I mean, part of it was that I had just been preparing like to the best of my ability leading up to that. I was, taking tons of voice lessons. I was working with you. I had bought my dream gown. Like everything was already in place. So I wasn't going to let this one thing stop me. And part of that was going into it knowing that I have to be my own advocate and I need to let people know that this happened to me. And so if I need to take a break from dancing, I need to take a break from dancing and just listen to my body. And so that helped a lot too, that I went into the situation knowing that, okay, yes, this is what happened, but this is how we're going to get through. And these are the steps that I'm going to take to make sure that I'm okay.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. So what was your song? If you don't mind sharing for your performance?
Yeah, so I sang Queen of the Night. It's a piece by Mozart. It is a very challenging song. It gets really high up there in the register, which takes a lot of core control. And then as far as choreography, not that much moving around, kind of just walking here, walking there. So thankfully, it wasn't too much on my body. It would have been one thing if I was a dancer. I don't know if
Yeah.
I would have been able to get through the week if I was a dancer.
Yeah.
But thankfully, as a singer, I was still able to push through.
That's exciting.
Mhm.
Well, again, congrats on that. So what do you feel made a difference with us working together versus things that you've
Mhm.
done in the past?
Yeah. So one thing that I noticed right off the bat working with you was that you were just teaching me a lot of things that I hadn't done before. So part of that was like using free weights more, and you taught me how to squat. So just like learning all those things that you go to a gym and you see all this equipment and you're like, oh my gosh, like how do I use that and how do I use it effectively, right? Like I don't want to hurt myself
Yeah.
while using these new things. So that's one thing that I noticed right off the bat with you was that not only was I seeing results, but I was learning how to be more efficient in the gym, and what really worked for me. And then on top of that was the meal plans. I always really enjoyed the plans that you gave me. And then when I used to be closer to you, also having the option to use your meal prep services. And I just remember like being in love with that food. It was so good. Um, it was wonderful because I think it was back in maybe 2019 or maybe sometime before that where I had, loaded up a cooler of of your food and was like, we're going to Miss Virginia and this is all I'm eating. And I felt so good throughout that week. So
So if you were in the same situation, years ago when we first started working together, the thought processes that you had then that others might have as well, what would you say to yourself back then, or someone who's in a similar situation to you preparing for whether it's a pageant or something else to get fit and healthy for?
yeah, I guess I would just say the results that you're looking for are in your prep. And if you feel like you can't do that prep yourself, then really look for amazing resources like Sarah. There's a lot on the internet, and like a lot of us get stuck scrolling through like Instagram and TikToks. And, not all of those people are professionals that have dedicated their life to making people, feel and look happy. So if you have the resources and you're able to work with someone like Sarah, like do it. Like it made such a difference in my preparation. And not the preparation, but also my life. Like the things that I learned from Sarah are things that I still do to this day. Like I can still go back and, think about the workouts that we've done or thinking about, how much I should be eating in protein. And these are all things that I learned from a professional and not someone who I just randomly found online. So definitely take that first step and do what's best for you. But just know that you're going to get some really great tools along the way.
Thank you for sharing. So again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day as an attorney. I know you have a lot on your plate, so I won't keep you any longer, but again, I appreciate you and I'm so thrilled for your progress and success.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah.